Hello. 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 Okay. So I'm gonna pause.
Like show that you did something, it's there now. Sorry. Okay.
Appreciate that.
All right, so my brief update is about Club Express, which is the new website platform that we're moving to. And I have really put it off long enough, and so I really need to do it now. Which is, when I say put it off, I don't mean that we've been doing nothing. I've been doing a lot of stuff in the background. So we are actually going to convert our website from the platform it's on now, which is Milo, to Club Express. And we have a team put together now, which is Anel and Catherine and Paula and Julie and Sylvia and Chris, I believe. People who will be using it and whose help I need to get it done. So we have to sign up for the demo through Club Express. Very shortly, I'll be doing that. And that's just the thing that starts the process. The process with Club Express. We already started with the Texas State League. We already talked to them and arranged with them, and I've been doing meetings with them so that they'll reimburse us for it ultimately for the first year. So we're going to convert our membership data to their format so we can put it on the new website. We're going to give them with Anel our financial information so that we can accept payments for memberships and merchandise and all that stuff through there. We have, I've been putting together a rough website design using our old stuff and really they have templates for us to use. So we'll have all the same look and feel that they want. And I have Google Docs and folders for the Club Express people to use to get our logo and photos and all kinds of stuff. And I'm confident in my ability or our ability to keep it updated and maintained because, you know, we've been doing that all along anyway. It's just a question of getting it started. So it's not, you have to be patient with us during this transition while we're going from one to the other because we don't all know what we're doing yet either. Because it's not just a website anymore. It is now a tool for everyone, for all the board members to use. It's a tool to manage the finances and the membership data, and it connects to the state and to national. It does a lot more. It's not just a static thing like it used to be. That said, it'll also have ways for you to manage events and volunteers and news, and it won't just be me who does it all anymore. There are other people that will be able to do their parts of it too, which I'm excited about. It's an ongoing process. So once we start it with the Club Express people, it's still going to take some time for them to do their part and then ask questions and us to go back and forth and get it done. So I'll keep you posted on progress as we get along, but otherwise that's where we are. And in fact, I'm going to have to leave this to go on a call with them.
All right. Thank you so much, Debbie. I know I'm looking forward to the demo and getting started on this, as I know all the others too are as well. It will be very nice to have things in one place and to have it flow through up the chain to state and national, much easier in terms of the reporting that we're required to do. So thank you. I'm looking forward to it. Going to take it for a test drive spin.
I'm looking forward to it being done.
Yeah, I hear you.
More than anything.
Very
and
good.
Tawana, also, this meeting is being taped and it will be on our YouTube channel later and accessible. So if you ever need that, it'll be on there too.
Okay. Here you go. I prefer not to have it, but I'm good.
Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you.
I know. You muted,
Yeah.
girl. Hi, Sylvia.
Okay. I don't have a question. I have a statement that I
Please.
have read through the materials that you sent to us, and I understand that I need to get the financial information, the bank information.
Yeah.
I just haven't gone back in and read how I'm supposed to do that. If I'm supposed to go into that program and do it, or whether I need to give you that information. So
You know, I think
you
we
and I
have that, we have that Google Doc in the lunchbox that has that startup questionnaire.
Mhm.
And that's the thing we need to all work together to put the information in that Google Doc, and that's what goes to them. So-
Let's create, I know this isn't really for public consumption, but let's
Yeah.
create a Zoom meet with that group and get
Yep.
it done that way.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
And I will know
Yes.
more after I go on this call afterwards too.
Awesome.
All right,
Okay.
very
Also,
good.
again,
Thank-
Sylvia, you weren't here. I want to apologize once again for not getting information up about this meeting until like today. That was my bad. I just lost it.
Well, we're live streaming on Facebook. So
Indeed
yay.
we go.
we are. All right. Thank you both. Thank you, Debbie, very much for that. And we'll see you on the next Zoom. Okay, so next, Chris, do you have anything you want to share with membership?
Yes, yes, I do. I privately chatted with Kawana. She and her family lived on Volga Drive for many years. And so I watched her family grow up, and we followed her foundation news. And so I said hello to Kawana about that, and glad to see her again in person.
Hi, Chris.
I am editing the monthly newsletter and depend on all of the board members and others to supply good information. I'm also working with voter registration just to finish up some public service announcements that would go to all local media for their community calendars and other things. You know, we've got 5 or 6 television outlets, and there's just a couple of radio stations that we can count on. But that's important for us to do all the time. I'm trying to get up to speed on Club Express, and have been asked to put information together on news media contacts and other local emails of community leaders that we always want to include if we decide to send some kind of a blast to everyone. Madam President, that's all I have right now.
All right, thank you so much, Chris. This is all going to be important to be getting our message out and
Hey,
sharing.
Chris, Getting that information together is great, but don't panic at it. We don't have to have that, give that to them to get started. You can always enter that. The whole point of the system is you can enter stuff. So
Okay.
that's just to save us from having to re-enter things we already have. We give them our database now and convert it, and they put it in there. Although, to be honest, we only have 100 or so members, and if something bad happened, it really wouldn't be that hard for, you know, anybody to just enter it. You know what I mean? So don't panic about trying to get that done right now. I mean, great information to have, and we can put it in at any time.
Okay.
Once
Well,
we
the
get it.
only question I have about that, Debbie, which is great, you're such a great leader in that regard, is that we need to constantly be proofing ourselves on whatever's submitted. If we're all doing stuff individually, it's so easy to be one letter off when we're
Oh, yeah.
typing. And so we really need to, through all of us important, and others, maybe other league members who are not on the board, but could be good proofreaders. So
Yeah.
that's important.
Excellent. So be sure and contact Chris if you've got that special skill. It really is so very helpful to getting that information out. Thank you, Chris. Debbie, thank you for clarifying the new connection with Club Express. So right now we're moving on to, let me look, I put Anel and Sylvia Campos together because there's some overlap, I think, in things that they want to get, information that they want to get out in terms of membership payments. We're working really hard now. You know, the beginning of our year, our league year is June 1, but we usually don't start really asking people to renew until later, but we're at that point, it's time. So Anel and Sylvia, would you please share what you are doing with membership, and Nell also a little bit about financial after you've talked about membership renewals and new members.
Okay, I guess I'll go first, Anel.
Okay.
Okay. We met last week, Anel and I at my home. Here we are, my home. And it was a very fruitful meeting because we combined the information she had and the information I had to make sure that we were current with our membership. So, you know, I feel really good about that. And then after making calls, I discovered there was one member that was not, that somehow it wasn't on hers and it wasn't on mine. So I'm sure we're gonna fix that issue. And, right now we have 138 members. That's with the lapse and with the non-lapse. So yay to us. And I don't know if the whole membership has heard this, but our goal is 150. That's, you know, and it can't be done by me, and it can't be done by, it has to be done by all of us. And I think part of the growing of the membership is because, and we're all tied in, is programs. It's important that we have good programs that people want to get involved in. You know, like for instance, this the lead study. So anyway, I think it's all tied in together. I'm so appreciative of everyone. I also just, because of voter registration, we're all also very, you know, everybody that I know of and that is in the league wants to be involved or is aware that voter registration is one of our key issues, right? So I got the opportunity. I, you know, presented it in our board. We had this person, Joey, that wants to do voter registration. National Voter Registration Day is September the 28th. Yay. So what we're working on is delivering some of the voter registration cards, and that's where the membership comes in. So far, I think we have like 10 apartment complexes that are willing to accept voter registration cards, and that's all we're going to be doing, just delivering them. So anyway, I'm happy to report that the league is growing, and just grateful.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sylvia. I'd like to remind people to please mute themselves so we don't get a lot of background and the noise. And now, can you add to and segue into financials?
I don't have much to add to what she said. There are two members that Sylvia has come across that say that they're paid that we did not come up with, and so we're going to investigate that. And if anybody ever has an issue like that, hopefully the new Club Express will wipe out that problem. And I don't know, I don't remember if Debbie said it or not, but when you do renew your membership, we'll port everybody's current membership over to Club Express, and when it expires, your renewal reminder will come from Club Express. And at that point, instead of going from June 1 to May 31st, you will go from, if you sign up on May 15th, your renewal will be May 15th of the following year. And ditto into June, July, August. So you are no longer bound into that. You don't have extra months if you sign in the month before they're due or anything like that. It's 1 year from the day that you enroll.
Rolling, but we get to move to rolling instead of just
Rolling.
starting in May. So that's great.
Thank you. And then the only financial information that I have to include is that our PMP, which is our per member payment dues to the United States and to the Texas leagues, have all been paid. We had a little over $15,000 in our bank account at the end of August. With those two payments, that takes us down to about 10. We have some expenses coming up for the March procession that will celebrate the, somebody help me out here, the March 3rd, 1913 March on the Capitol, right before the women, right before the inauguration.
Inauguration.
Thank
It
you.
was the inauguration in the
All right.
30s. Yes.
All right. So, and those are, but present, those are not overwhelming. So we are in really good shape financially.
Fantastic, Annelle. Thank you for that. Let me remind all of you who are coming on into the Zoom to use the chat to put in your name so we'll know what our attendance is. And make sure, again, to mute yourself if you're not speaking so that we don't have significant background noise. Paula, you're up next for voter services.
All right. So I think Raul has kind of dialed back a little bit with the surge in Delta. So we're doing, we're supporting things like Sylvia said, just reaching out to like bigger areas, getting those voter registration cards out. Another thing we're doing, and Julie will probably talk about this too, is sending out some more fair maps things, because if we don't have fair maps, it's going to, our votes will be significantly diluted. So another thing we're doing, I ordered the state guides for the constitutional amendments. So those should be coming sometime after October 7th, I think is when they're supposed to ship. We'll distribute those to public libraries and maybe a few select buildings. Another thing that we did was apply for the Get Out the Vote grant that the Texas League had put forth. So we have $1,000. So we are going to be printing some bookmarks, and I've initiated a conversation with the libraries. Well, I'm in the process of initiating a conversation. I've got a name of a person to contact about maybe printing out Get Out the Vote bookmarks, taking those to the libraries as well as the voter guides, so that they can keep people informed about, getting out, voting, registering, early voting, all those things. Something that we can do without actually having to put our vote, our members at risk in a still quite fraught population. So anyway, any questions? And I want to shout out Debbie. Oh, that was another thing. I just got off the phone with Kara Sands, and Catherine had tasked me with finding out about the logic and accuracy of voting machines. And of course, I'm a day late and $1 short, and that is going on right now. So it's something that the county does to make sure that the voting machines are accurate, or as accurate as they can be. And apparently that's going on today at 11 o'clock. Although Kara seemed to make it sound like they do it all the time and come on down. Now, I'm kind of a Luddite, so I have the hardest time trying to figure out how to access this stuff. Although Kara said, it's in the paper, which I don't get. It's on their social media, which I obviously have missed, and it's on their website, and I can never find anything on the website. So Debbie very kindly found it and now put it on our website. So if people are interested in being a volunteer, and Kara said, welcome to come down anytime that they're doing these, keep in mind for like the primary, that they'll be doing that again. They do it before every election, I think 45 days or so before the election. So we'll keep more of an eye on it, and Debbie will again, or at that point maybe we'll be on Club Express, and I can even post that. So we'll keep people posted.
Their Facebook name is hard to find. Like you wouldn't have to find. It's like Office of the County Clerk of Nueces County. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. So
Thank you.
I try to remember when I see their stuff, I try to remember to share it. But sometimes, like this, it would be great if they should live stream it. Like they should do a testing thing and live stream it. But she just posts a one little sentence thing saying that they're doing this thing, which like you and I know what it is, but not everybody even knows what it is. It doesn't mean anything.
Right. Yeah. Well, I didn't know what it was.
Anyway, I'm putting their Facebook page, and I did a post today and encourage people to follow them because that's where some of their information is. So
okay, and I will make sure and do so. But if you don't know, that you don't even know to follow them.
Yeah, definitely
Okay, thank you both. Thank you, Paula, for that information. That should be really interesting. And as Paula mentioned, you can find out when the dates and times, and you actually, as a citizen, can go down and see that process that happens before every election. Could be very, very informative in terms of what you see. I want to mention something really quickly from Chris before moving on to Julie and to Alice. Chris says that recently Lena Coleman Wilson, who was served in the early 2000s as a board director, passed away, and there's a story about her, not in the obituaries, but as a regular story in the Caller Times today. And so just wanted to pass that on. If you knew Lena, Chris is working to find out the address for family to send, for which we need to send condolences for. So thank you for that information, Chris. I appreciate that. All right, moving right along. We have Julie and we have Alice to talk to us about their efforts and what they've been working on and what they have in store for us.
I think Alice was going to get us caught up first. Alice, are you ready?
Yes, I'm going to go ahead. I don't have but a couple of minutes because I have another Zoom starting in about 6 minutes. So I'm just going to be real brief, and I hope to be able to get back to the meeting because this other one is going to be hopefully short, but they always make promises, you know. But I just wanted to mention that we are growing in number and in size. We had, I was on with Elisa the other day when we had a meeting about the map drawing and all of that. And I'm just really grateful to report that we gained another member in the name of Lamont Taylor. And he will be a tremendous, tremendous addition to our organization. By profession, he is a planner, a city planner, urban planner. And so he has also, we were able to put a map together with him. And so he has, as a result of that event and that training, he has decided to go ahead and join the league. So I haven't had an official meeting with the committee, and I'm just begging for your indulgence right now. I'm in the middle of a number of things going on, not only with the school district, but with also my schooling. I'm in the process of trying to produce all of my paperwork for a proposal that's going to be given on the 21st of September, which is next week. So my nights are long and my days are also very long, but we are trucking along. I am talking up the league everywhere I go. Right now, it's a one-woman show. That is not what I want it to be. But until I'm able to have a little time to organize some things and put some things together and have an official meeting, I am just pulling people in as a matter of fact, I'm just twisting arms, to be honest with you. I'm there crying uncle and saying, okay, I'll join. So I'm just really grateful for that. The other thing I wanted to mention to Anel, you told me that my refund check was in the mail, but Anel, what I'd like to do is take that money and put it back into the league fund to sponsor another member. So I was really zealous because I got a phone call saying I needed to pay my dues and I didn't realize I had already paid them. So I went ahead and just like sheep to slaughter. I went and sent in another check. So and now I'm sorry that you wrote the check, but just go ahead and put it back into the fund and that it would serve to help fund a new member.
Not a problem. That's wonderful news. And all I got to do is write void on the stub. And
thank you very much. And I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And that's really all I have to say right now. I am working to try to I'm talking to my friends and trying to get them to be a part of the group because I laud this group for all of the great work. I think it is so much needed. So many people need to have information and to have a place to go for voting rights and for all of the things that we advocate. So I just appreciate this opportunity to serve. And that's really all I have to say right now. I will be getting off in just a few minutes. We are being promised that this meeting is only going to last about 20. So I will be back on if I have time to get back on, but thank you for your time.
Thank you, Alice. Julie?
All right. Thank you, Alice. I think you're a great example of how important it is to do things, not just talk about it. You certainly have been doing things for the league. Thank you. Everybody, just to make sure you know, Alice is the chair of she's a board member and also the chair of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Program, which is very important. And it was very smart and thoughtful of our president, to put the two together, because you can't have programs unless you look at them through a DEI lens. And I recommend that all of you visit our national website and check out our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Program. And I'm going to move on. I'm going to try to go very, very quick and be mindful of the time. I want to also remind everybody that today our friend is going to be the chat. I am going to go through my report very quick, and I'm going to ask you to leave your name in the chat with your contact info if you're interested in any of the opportunities that I'm going to give to you, okay? So you've got the DEI committee. If you're interested in joining that with Alice Hawkins, go ahead and put your name and contact info in the chat. We also have a public health unit that's been formed since the annual meeting because the lead study is finished. Now we have a position statement, and the next step in that is to be an advocate using our position statement. So the public health unit is going to be chaired by Linda Snyder, who would be here today, but it's a high holy holiday, so she can't join us. But they plan to take the citizen science job to another level. They're planning to do outreach and education and zip codes with the highest elevated lead levels and more planning in other areas. So to get this started, you can join them virtually for the first public health unit meeting. That's going to be Saturday, October the 2nd, first Saturday, October 2nd, from 10 to 11. Put your name in the chat if you're interested. Next thing, redistricting. Alice has been working very hard with us on that, and so has Elisa Gonzalez and many other people. So shout out to them. Members have been testifying in public hearings. We've had at least 8 members, and I know more are signed up for Saturday. Members have been making community of interest maps. We've been able to accomplish this because of the people that are on this team, but also because of our coalition work. So we also should have a shout out to the Texas Civil Rights Project, who have been giving us quite a bit of training. We have a big press conference in the work with the Big Tent Coalition. The Big Tent Coalition is a group of alliances across the state of Texas that are working on redistricting. Because Alice introduced Lamont to the issue, and he already has a map of Hillcrest made, he is going to participate in the press conference. He'll be making a video testimony along with people all over the state of Texas, and they'll be using that to let the media know that we want fair maps. So I want to say that this needs to be like my report. Redistricting is going to move so fast right now. They want to get the maps done by November 15th in order to keep up with in order to keep our primaries in March. So you know who has the majority, and the chances are pretty good that's going to happen. So we have to hustle. How do we hustle? Well, everybody really liked the postcard campaign. Y'all remember that? Well, we had a party. So now we're going to turn that party into a campaign. We need to get these postcards out as soon as possible. We're targeting the chairs of the committees. That would be Senator Huffman and Representative Hunter. We're also going to be sending postcards to Judge Canales, because once the state creates the maps, Then the county is going to take on redistricting, and they've already started. We're really lucky to have Tim Dowling step up as an observer, and he'll be keeping us up to date on what's happening with the county redistricting. The postcard campaign, we have a delivery team in place. There's 6 to 7 people that are ready to come deliver postcards to your house. How easy could it be? But we can't do it if we don't have your name, contact info, and your address in the chat. So put that information in the chat so we can get postcards to you. One more thing before we introduce the speaker, and that is that we have another coalition. It's called Fair Maps. The League of Women Voters is instrumental to that coalition. Stephanie Swanson is one of the leaders, and she has asked us to put together a rapid response team. So what does a rapid response team do? Because it's going to move so fast. We could have to go to Austin even next week. The Senate is saying that they are not going to allow virtual testimony, and maybe even only one day of in public. We don't know yet, but because of that, we need to have a rapid response team in place. If you are interested in being a part of the rapid response team, once again, put your name in the chat. All right, that's my report. I'm not going to take any questions. I've put my name and phone number in the chat. You can call me or email me if you'd like. This is being recorded. It'll be on YouTube. So I am going, and I don't think the chat is there. So here is my email if you want to find out more. I'm Rogers Julie T, ROGERSJULIET @gmail.com. Thank you. We're so lucky today that we really do need all this time because we have a very special speaker, and we have 2 speakers with us. So I'd like to introduce Kawana Denson. She's the president and founder of the Jaisani Smith Foundation, and Dara Betts is here. Dara is the vice president of the foundation's programs and initiatives. They're joining us today to give an update on beach safety and advocacy. The Jaisani Smith Foundation is to improve public safety and to save lives by providing education, awareness, and water skills training on beach safety and other coastal hazards. We're honored to have Ms. Denson here to share her experiences and expertise with us. I do want to remind you that our local position, which needs to be reviewed, the local position on natural resources, makes recommendations that the Jaisani Smith Foundation has already been successful at, such as presenting public information programs, conveniently locating information, and enforcing public safety regulations. So enjoy learning and ask questions. Remember the chat. If you're interested in helping to review the natural resources position, put your name in the chat or email me, and I'll get back in touch with you. On that note, I'm going to turn this over to Dara and Kawana. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Julie. It's a pleasure being here, and I certainly thank the League of Women Voters for everything that you do to support, voter registration rights. So thank you. And yes, Dara Betts is joining us. She again is the vice president of community programs and initiatives for the Jaisani Smith Foundation. So thank you for having us. And first and foremost, I'll have Dara start off with her PowerPoint presentation, just kind of give you some feedback, a little bit of information about the Jaisani Smith Foundation. And then, of course, we'll close it out with Q&A and talk about some of the things that we're aspiring to do as it pertains to future initiatives, which is really on a grander scale from the community and the state level with engaging more entities and organizations. We want them to take a stance as well as it pertains to beach safety and current awareness. So that's a huge undertaking. We can't do it alone. And again, as I said earlier, it takes time and we have to be patient, right? And so we're looking forward to it. But we certainly need your help, and we appreciate this opportunity because this is how this is the starting, this is the platform right here. This is how we get the word out and how we make people more aware of what we do, what our mission is, and how everyone else can help save lives. So Dara, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Thank you, Kwana, and thank you, ladies, for today. So the PowerPoint presentation I'm going to give is just an example of one of the programs that we, as a foundation, that we do to promote beach safety and rip current awareness to the community. So I will first start off with a brief rip current safety brief, and then we'll go into a little bit about the foundation, some of the websites, some stuff on our website, and then a little bit about our board. And then Kwana can take it from there. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, can everyone see that? We're good?
Yes, I see it.
Okay, good.
And I didn't know you had that picture up there.
I got that from their website just now. So that's on their
Oh.
website. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you.
Surprise. It's a good picture of you. So like I said, I'm Dara Betts, and I'm the VP of Programs and Community Initiatives. I was formerly the treasurer. I just moved into this role last week. So I've been with the Jaisani Foundation since the start of it a year and a half ago, and I couldn't be more proud. And this mission is very near and dear to my heart. And Kawana and her family are dear friends of mine. So I am very honored that I get to be part of this mission. Oops. All right, so like I said, I'm just going to give you a brief overview. And this is one of the presentations that I have given over the summer to the YWCA during their pre-teens leadership series. So I probably presented 4 or 5 times to middle school girls. And I was really surprised. I got to tell you, before I start, I was really impressed that a lot of these girls really knew about what I was saying. So this presentation is usually geared to how I interact with the crowd. So again, we'll go from there. So we're going to talk about rip currents. And what are rip currents? They are channel currents of water flowing away from a shore at surf beaches. They typically form at the breaks and sandbars, and also near structures such as jetties and piers. And they are commonly found on surf beaches, including Great Lakes and beaches. So there you can see an illustration there of, this is illustration of how the rip current forms and how you can possibly identify one. And why are they dangerous? So rip currents pull people away from the shore. So a lot of times people think that they mistake that from when you get pulled under. So that's more like an undertow. But what's scary is that these rip currents pull people away from the shore. So when people get caught up in a rip current, their natural instinct is to try to, 1, come up for air, and 2, swim back to the shore. So that's why it's so dangerous, because you're not going to be able to win that. Well, most of the time it's very hard to win that fight. These rip currents speeds can vary from moment to moment, quickly increase to become dangerous to anyone entering the surf. They can sweep even the strongest swimmer away from the shore. And I don't know if y'all watch the Weather Channel, but even the Weather Channel gives out this data. So, so this is where we got some of the data from as well. The review of the data provided by the USLA found that over 100 deaths a year in the United States are attributed to rip currents alone. So it's not just here in the coastal bend, even though that's probably the more prevalent one that we focus on, but it's everywhere. Rip currents account for over 80% of rescues performed by surf beach lifeguards. So what are some clues that you can possibly identify a rip current? So like I said before, they're near piers and jetties and man-made structures. So as you can see here by the picture, there's a break, and that's usually the clearest, that's probably the most identifying, the most significant identifying marker that you can point out a rip current is that gap, is that clear gap in between, whether it's between the waves or between a structure and the waves. There's a difference in watercolor. So it's not only about identifying what a rip current is and how to identify one, and how to identify the flags and the warning systems. But more importantly, it says, how do you survive, right? So we all hear, so, you know, you go to the beach and you see the flags, you know, you get all this information thrown at you. You see our billboards, you see the digital monitors, you know, about watch the flags, you know the flags. But now, well, so what do you do in a rip current, right? So so here we have always swim in an area populated by lifeguards, and Kawana can go over a little bit here in a little bit about how many more lifeguard stands we have now, the increased presence of lifeguards that we have, thanks to the push of the foundation, and also the community itself support in this mission. Consult lifeguards before entering the water. Assume that rip currents are always present at surf beaches. So one thing that we always try to make clear is that it doesn't have to be choppy, big waves, right? Just like we just had Tropical Storm Nicholas, right? I don't know if y'all went over to the beach, but it was really choppy out there. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the only time a rip current or a red flag day is. So it could be in very calm water. Learn to swim in the surf and make sure your children can swim in the surf. Swimming pools is not the same as swimming at the surf beach. And learn to identify rip currents and take time to evaluate the water before you enter the water. So here's how we talk about getting away, if you're caught in a rip current. I know it's easier said than done, but relax. Rip currents don't pull you under, they pull you out. So just, we can't get that message across enough. Just relax and remember, they don't pull you under, they pull you out. So what do we say to do is don't swim against it. You want to swim to the outside. So if you look, you can see the picture here, the swimmer, he's swimming to the outside because a rip current is coming from the shore and it's going out. So what you want to do is you want to break that rip and you want to go swim to the outside. You may be able to escape swimming by swimming out of the current in a direction following the shoreline or towards the breaking waves and then an angle toward the beach. So you'll see this, you'll hear with the news stations or the Weather Channel or whomever is talking about this, but the easiest way to say it is swim parallel to the shoreline. So swim to the left or swim to the right. You may be able to escape by floating or treading water if the current circulates back towards shore. So another thing you can do is if you're finding yourself out of breath, just try to relax, but tread water until you get that strength to move out to the outside. If you feel you will be unable to reach shore, draw attention to yourself. If you need help, yell and wait for assistance. And we cannot stress enough that it don't matter how much of a strong swimmer you claim you are, it can really take away the most experienced swimmer, and Kawana and her tragedy is a true testament to that. And here's some facts about rip currents. They do not pull people under the water, they pull people away from the shore. And as you see, that's I stress this a lot because this is something, probably the most important thing that we want people to understand when you're caught in a rip current. Just keep that in mind. Rip current, the speeds can vary. An average speeds are 1 to 2 feet per second, but they have been measured as 8 feet per second, and that's faster than an Olympic swimmer. Rip currents can be very narrow or more than 50 yards wide. Sometimes rip currents ends just beyond the line of the breaking waves. However, others may continue to flow hundreds of yards offshore. So what this means is if when you're out, say out on Mustang Island or our beaches, and you see that first wave of breaks, the first break of waves or that first sandbar, that's normally where it could start. Rip currents are sometimes mistakenly called undertows or rip tides, but these terms are not correct. The only term rip currents is technically correct. So here's some safety tips. Know how to swim. But again, be careful if you do know how to swim. Swim near a lifeguard, never swim alone, and if in doubt, don't go out. So here's some of the safety pamphlets that we like to hand out, informational pamphlets we like to hand out. Some might have already been handed out to y'all. But again, these are just some of the stuff that you might see, whether you're entering the beach, whether we have them displayed at most of the stores on the island in Port Aransas, but they're really good information pieces. And next to it, here's our website. So I'm just going to briefly touch on this, and then I'll hand it back over to Kawana. So this is our Jaisani Smith Foundation.org website. And see here, it just has our mission, and this is the first page. And then it goes into, these are some of the public service announcements. And these are, we have more since then, but these are just a few of them. And you just go on YouTube and just type in Jaisani Smith Foundation, and you'll see quite a few videos. And as you can see, we are partnered with the Port Aransas lifeguards, which is Mr. Jared here, and then also our Corpus Christi lifeguards. And again, people always want to say, well, what can I do to help? What can I help do to be involved in this mission, you know? So we're always looking for volunteers. And of course, you can always donate as well. And so on our page, we do have ways that you can volunteer and donate, and Kawana can do a few of those things as well. We have several events coming up that we're always looking for volunteers, whether it's making up information packets together, whether it's going out to the beach. And see here, this is during spring break. This is probably one of the first events we did. It started COVID, no less. And this was us going out to the beach and talking to people on the beach about rip current, beach safety and rip current awareness. And so of course we couldn't do all this without our board of directors. So again, I just moved into this position. So this is, we're still in the midst of updating it. But as you can see, we have a solid number of board members. And so under each board member, we do have our committee members as well there. So we have support members as well that belong to each of these board members. So you can see those here, and you'll see that we try to cover each area. And these are all volunteer positions. And so we have someone that has, helps with our marketing, helps with our fund development. And because of the board of directors, we are truly able to be where we're at today. But just as with anything else, we always need the extra help. So again, this is just one of the programs and one of the community initiatives that we do. I'm always happy to go out to the schools, whether it's the high schools, the middle schools, or again, like I was at the YWCA. Doesn't matter what it is, if y'all can think of something that you would think that, and this information will be good to have and good to educate people about beach safety, just please reach out to us and we'll be happy to set something up. And without further ado, I'd like to toss this back over to Kawana.
All right, thank you, Dara. I really appreciate that. All right, so, and I'll tell you now, I do better with Q&A, because if I start talking about one subject, that one subject might turn into 5 subjects and really just needs to be one. So, so I'll open up the floor for Q&A, but then I will mention some upcoming events that we have in celebration of Beach Safety and Rip Current Awareness Month, which has been designated for the month of April. That was one of the legislations that I personally had the opportunity to advocate for on the Capitol Hill.
Kawana, would it be easier for you if they posted their questions in the chat?
Sure.
We have a great number of people here, so it's hard to see raised hands and that sort of thing.
Okay, sure. All right, let's see here. Let me get to the chat here. And while we're waiting for some questions, what I can do. So, so where we are today with the foundation, oh goodness, we have so many great ideas. There's never enough channels of communication, to get our word out. The majority of our budget is spent on marketing and advertising because we have to reach the masses. Beach safety and rip current awareness affects everyone, anyone who enjoys the beach or vacations, whether here locally. At the same time, we get people from around the world who patron our beach. And so what better way for us to get that out is by having those billboards, like you had the opportunity to see out in Ingleside. Was it Ingleside? Yes, out in Ingleside. And so we do our best to reach the greatest population, and that's through marketing, advertising, radio, PSAs, billboards, and so that's really how we get the greatest message out, or get the message out to the masses of our community and within our state. All right, so a question: so are there more rip currents now due to climate change? And I have seen them lately. Well, now, I'm no scientist, but I can personally say that just from a personal perspective, I would say I believe so. I think, with the changes in our, you can just, if you think about the number of hurricanes that we've had, we went to the Roman numeral system, right? And, if you look back 20 years ago, or maybe even 30 years ago, we didn't experience that, but we're experiencing that now. And of course, weather patterns and, all of that has an impact on how strong the rip currents are. And rip currents will always be, they always prevail near structures, piers and jetties. And that's unfortunately where my son lost his life, was next to a jetty. They will always be there, even on a green day. The best day, it doesn't matter. Those rip currents they will always be there. So next question: can you give tips on designing pamphlet and information packets for the masses? Well, we do have, we create our own postcards in-house. Lucy Kernan, who's our director of marketing, she creates all of our pamphlets. And that's not really a we try to do things more with utilizing technology, because people can see it, and then they can always go back to it, and versus with paper and just giving things to people, sometimes it just kind of gets lost. And so we really focus on the digital aspect of information. And but we do have resources to provide, and we also partner with Sea Grant, Texas Sea Grant, and also we've utilized New York Sea Grant. We have a relationship with them, and they have some great resources on their website as far as beach safety and rip current awareness. All right, okay, thank you. He says, we are learning to be better advocates, and you're helping, thank you. How receptive were people when you talked to them at the beach? That's a good question. Actually, believe it or not, we only had the Corpus Christi Women's Lion Club out on the beach on Labor Day. Actually, it was on Saturday. I believe that. No, actually, it was the day before, or a couple days before Labor Day. So it was a Labor Day weekend, and she said the reaction was overwhelmingly exciting and appreciative. People, for the most part, people really do appreciate the information. And they appreciate, us coming up and talking to them and just giving them that awareness that, unfortunately, a lot of us are not aware of. We don't have that information. We don't, you go to, if you think about other beaches that you've participated or patroned, and how to you and made you aware of rip currents, or tried to help save your life or prevent a fatality. So we've had some great responses from our patrons on the beach. Discuss your partnerships with other community organizations. Well, throughout this whole process, from the beginning, before the foundation, before I even founded the foundation, we had great partnerships, and we still do, with the city of Corpus Christi, Nueces County. They support us in more ways than I can count. And they do their part, obviously, because they administer the lifeguard program, and so they've increased the number of lifeguards that they have. And again, even the news media, they're announcing daily the rip current status. And then, of course, what we do is we typically take feedback, or we'll get inquiries on, okay, can you come and talk to our students, just like they're participating in the YWCA program, where she have the time, we will do what we can to partner with organizations and businesses and try to provide as much outreach as we can to our community and across the state of Texas. So we have lots of partnerships. We need more, sometimes quick and fast, but at the same time, this has been a learning process for us. We look forward to having more relationships and partnerships as we, that is definitely needed in all coastal communities.
So Kwana, if you want me to, I can go ahead and read you the questions. That way we don't miss any. So
Okay.
we got a little bit jumped around. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Right, so Lauren, what was your advocacy strategy for pursuing legislation for beach safety?
Oh, say that one more time. You kind of cut off.
What was your advocacy strategy for pursuing legislation to create more beach safety?
Well, that actually was a personal initiative. So prior to the foundation coming into existence, we had started, well, actually it was myself and Commissioner, Nueces County Commissioner Chesney, Brent Chesney, and then the City of Corpus Christi, Parks and Recreation team, the city manager. I mean, there were so many people that were involved and engaged from the beginning. This is, I'm talking shortly, 3 months shortly after my son's tragedy. And Representative Hunter, from that day, from that very first meeting in August of 2019, he says, we're going to go to legislation 2 years from now. And of course, I'm thinking, sure. Well, guess what? 2 years came around, we kept talking about it during the Beach Safety Task Force meeting. And he says, look, this is how I need your help. I just need you to utilize your networks to get the feedback from the community, because I need the community's feedback in order to initiate some legislation. And that's exactly what we did. It was actually the community's feedback. We did it through a Google Docs form, and we sent it out to our networks, just via email, and we sent it right back to Representative Hunter. Now, lo and behold, of course, somebody had to go up there and speak on, behalf of our community and everyone who patrons our beach. And and so who better else to do that? Well, there I was. And so I personally, advocated because I have, I experienced that personal loss. Can y'all hear me okay? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I think I'm fading in and out. I'm sorry.
Yes, I can hear you. It's
Oh,
Liz
okay.
Riddle. Yes, I can hear you, but you are fading
kind of
in and
breaking
out.
up.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Let me see if I can't, if I try to, okay, you know what I see. It may cut me out, so just give me one more. Okay, somebody let me know if you can hear me. Okay, great, perfect. All right, so hopefully that connection will be better. All right, thank you. So I personally, lobbied for legislation, with Representative Hunter and his team. I will tell you that had to be one of the most, I did not know what to expect, number one. So when I went before the House committee, for the very first time, I can tell you, I didn't get any words out of my mouth. It took me like a minute just to gain my composure. I mean, I was bawling, crying. And, but then I gained my composure and I got up there and, I prepared my speeches each time I went. It was like 3 or 4 times. I think one time I submitted one electronically. But again, I was there to support House Bill 3807, which is the Jaisani Smith Act. And I had no idea he was going to call it the Jaisani Smith Act. That was kind of a surprise. But and that's a true honor, to have a House bill named after your son. And but again, so I'm truly honored for that, but I did not expect it. I didn't even know. So anyway, so House Bill 3807 is designed, and actually it passed successfully. which was, again, I can't tell you, I just did not know what to expect from any of this. I just thought, oh, okay, I'm gonna go up here and talk. Well, that had to be the most nerve-wracking. It was a lot of anxiety, it was a lot of stress, I'll tell you that. It was a lot of nights in Austin and driving late at night with my family and taking time off from work to do all that. But it was worth it. It was worth it because I can tell you right now, I would not, and we continue to see the fatalities, but the more we do, the less, in my personal opinion, the less fatalities I believe we will see. And I think we have seen less fatalities because the year my son passed away, we had up to, I want to say 8 or 9 fatalities, including himself. And to date, we may see 1 or 2 per year, which is a huge step in the right direction as far as decreasing rip current fatalities. So it was worth every bit of it. But again, going back to House Bill 3807, it was designed to ensure that there were lifeguards on each side of a jetty or a pier. And that was effective September the 1st. And so, and they can either be in a lifeguard stand or they can be mobile. And of course, the hours of operation are defined by the counties or the municipalities, whoever's in charge of the lifeguard programs in different coastal communities. And then of course, there's HCR, which is House Concurrent Resolution 46, which is, oh goodness, I just lost my train of thought. It designates April, the month of April, as Beach Safety and Rip Current Awareness Month. And of course, I chose the month of April. Everybody kept wanting me to do May. I was like, nope, I'm doing April. And one, because my son lost his life in April and he was born in April. Again, he lost his life 8 days of being 18 years old. So it meant the world to me that that particular resolution was passed again successfully, and we can now, do more outreach. The foundation, it helps the foundation, be able to do more outreach now that we have a resolution and also a House bill that can help us, get the message across the state and within our local communities.
So here's a message from Chris. He sent me directly, but I think it's probably for the group. So is the foundation reaching out to other counties that front on Gulf beaches?
Well, so yes, and not per se. What we're trying to do, we do have some initiatives that we're putting in place, just as we have our local beach safety task force meetings, which will reconvene here in October next month. I have a young gentleman, Gavin, who works for the Texas Surf Museum, who will lead that effort now. You got to delegate. I can't do everything, right? So he's going to lead that charge. So that's our local task force committee. But then at the same time, we are, I have Melissa Huffman, who works for the National Weather Service in NOAA. She is a prior board member for the Jaisani Smith Foundation, and she together, collectively with the foundation and then some of her National Weather Service contacts, we're trying to create a Texas consortium, if you will. So that is kind of preliminary. We're trying to round up as many contacts as we can throughout the coastal communities. So going back to answering that question, we are doing our best to come up with this Texas Coalition for Beach Safety. And Melissa's taking the charge on that. So it's something that is, again, it's really preliminary, but we're treading the water here and trying to get something started. And of course, the foundation will be an asset to that to that coalition. So we look forward to it.
All right. So what is your advice for others who want to advocate on an issue?
And say that one more time.
What is your advice for others who want to advocate on an issue?
Oh, wow. Hey, follow your heart. That's what I did. I mean, I can't, give you some long speech about, what to do and how to do it. I had to follow my heart. The tragedy was very personal. I lost my lovely, beautiful son. My family, lost a family member. My son lost a brother, and it's one of those things where either, for me, I just could not stand by and just watch the fatalities continue. And I really think the loss of lives that occurred post Jaisani's tragedy really just made me, I had an epiphany. I have to do something about this, right? So, one introduction to another led to where we are today, so I'm grateful and thankful. Sometimes, I'm ready to say I can't do no more, but then, I can't do that. I have to keep going because this is my life, and I am committed to it, and it's important. I don't want anyone else to go through what we live through every single day.
And are there lifeguards at North Beach?
That's a good question. I can't say I've seen any lifeguards at North Beach.
Yeah,
Are you
Kawana, I just remember it was within the year, a gentleman lost his life over there.
Mhm.
And then I was so happy that that act passed, the House Bill 3807. I thought maybe that would require them
Yes,
to get a lifeguard, but I don't know if I've seen.
you've seen that.
Well, it would have gone in effect September 1st or right
Yes.
when he signed it.
September 1st. Yes, ma'am. September 1st. And that's another part of our, with the Texas Coalition for Beach Safety. One of the things that Melissa and we're working with Representative Hunter in identifying is a representative from the state to help us to see what resources our community need to make sure that everyone is, following the new legislation and abiding by the new legislation. So that's this Texas Coalition is a part of that. But at the same time, like I said, things will take time. But again, it's there's a lot of partnerships in that. You got the county, you have the city, and then so it's one of those, and things to come.
But we should check and see and just remind folks that there should be one there because of the new act, Jaisani Smith Act.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so it looks like that Sylvia and Anel both have to leave, but they thank you for giving your testimonies, and also just speaking in a positive force and a message to everyone.
Oh, thank you. No, I appreciate it. And trust me, everything came fast and furious, and 2 years has already gone by, over 2 years and several months now. And, I'll tell you, sometimes it still feels like yesterday. I still sometimes feel like I'm just living some dream and I'm gonna wake up one day. But unfortunately, this is my life. And, this is how I stay positive. And, I've always had a different outlook on life, but I certainly have a different outlook on life these days. You have to be positive and remain positive and do what you can to protect lives. I think we're here to serve a purpose, and if tragedies can be prevented, then, do everything you can to do that. Preserve life. That's important. And so, so I thank my board members as well for, like Dara said, without them, I would not be able to do this. And it's a lot of work, and it's all volunteers. So we do it when we can, but we do hope to grow and hire someone one day. But again, that takes funds, and we all know funding just doesn't grow on trees. You got to go out and get that. And but again, we're doing our best, and things will come in time. Like I say, patience is a virtue, and that's truly, an understatement, but things will happen in time.
Okay, so we have a question from Peggy. Would the National Seashore follow with lifeguards?
Say it one more time. Sorry.
Would the National Seashore follow with lifeguards? So do you see the National Seashore implementing lifeguards even though I would assume because it's a federal?
Oh, okay. That's a good question. And that's one of the reasons why we have the Beach Safety Task Force meetings, and we're hoping to have the Texas Coalition, come into play, is because it serves as a as a platform, you know, to have questions like that answered, right? And it's one of those where we want to get all the municipalities and businesses and organizations who play a key role in beach safety. And then we can all get together on the group and just kind of learn and feed off of each other. And then also, you know, it's more of a way, again, to when you talk in terms of the legislation and getting that word out and that messaging out, and how can all of the organizations, you know, within the group support one another and ensuring, again, that they are aware of the new legislation, and at the same time, you know, how can they, you know, enhance their current lifeguarding programs, or, you know, provide additional outreach through their lifeguarding programs, or any other programs that they may have. And it doesn't necessarily just have to be lifeguards. Like I said, we want, you know, just like the League of Women Voters, you know, who would think that we'd be talking live on Facebook with the League of Women Voters. But again, you know, we're all here to support each other. This is a great way to do it. And, you know, we all have the same mission. We're serving people, right? Whether we're trying to keep them alive, or we're supporting their rights or protecting their rights. This is how we make it happen. And so there's no easy answer to a lot of the questions. But again, like I say, you know, patience is the virtue, and just making things happen and bringing people together to support one another and see it in more of as something positive versus, you know, how much money is it going to cost me, right? And that's how we, you know, can, you know, make, you know, this initiative more impactful and again, save lives.
And question, Kwana, is can you tell us about the scholarships?
Oh, sure. Yes. Yeah, I can talk about that one. That's within my control. So yeah, so we have the Jaisani Smith Foundation. Well, actually, let me backtrack. So it was probably 1 or 2 months right after my son passed. You know, our family was, you know, given, you know, we just had money just coming around, you know, just falling out the sky. And so I said, you know what, I need to do something about this. And that was kind of like the first thing that I did. You know, it was the very first opportunity for me to give back to a student or a family, one in, you know, with the outreach and at the same time supporting a student who was, you know, very dear near friends of Jaisani's. And so I said, well, why don't we do a scholarship in his name and give it to a King High School student, because he went to King High School. And so that was the very first thing. I mean, again, like I said, I would just, things would just pop up in my head, and I would say, oh, that's a wonderful idea. Let me go do it. And I just did it. And so we each year we designate $1,200, and we chose 1,200 because my son's basketball number that King High School retired was the number 12. And so I just put 2 more zeros, just 2 on the end of 12. And that's how we came up with the $1,200 scholarship. So we select a committee every year to review applications. And we partner with King High School to do that with one of their career counselor. And you know, the committee will, and it's a blind committee. They will actually review the applications, and then they get back with me and they'll say, hey, this is who we like. And so we have that one that we do every year. And I think we probably announced that to the King High School students probably around the month of April, probably early April, May. We typically want to you know, announce it and do a press conference or release, you know, before June 1. So that's the first scholarship that we have, and we only give out one, but we hope, again, if we can secure additional fundings and receive additional support, we can obviously, you know, provide, you know, more than just one scholarship. But they do have to write a no less than a 1,200 word essay, 1,200 word essay on beach safety and recurrent awareness. So again, even if there's, you know, whether it's 1 applicant or 5 applicants or 10 applicants, each one of those students are learning about beach safety and recurrent awareness, whether they win or not. So it's an opportunity for them to gain knowledge and education, and at the same time, hopefully win $1,200 that goes towards their college education. So that's the first one. And then of course, Del Mar College, again, who is an employer, who is my employer, they designated a memorial scholarship in Jaisani's name, and that they started that probably soon after his passing. And the scholarship, I think they designate $1,000 a year for a student going into the music program, art program, and I believe it's the technology or welding program. So they select a student. So we pretty much just make sure there's enough funding, or I do personally, because it's not necessarily connected to the foundation, the Del Mar College, excuse me, the Jaisani Smith Foundation. But we direct people in that direction so that we can keep the direct scholarship going. You know, there has to be a certain amount of money that we maintain in that account at the Del Mar College Foundation. So I personally, you know, support it, and Dara, she works at Del Mar. So, you know, we all find ways to make sure we, again, you know, we want students to learn too, and at the same time, we want to help them get their college education.
Thank you so much, Kawana and Dara. We so appreciate you being here and sharing your incredible journey in creating the foundation and also in proposing and working through to get the legislation passed so that there are safe beaches all along the Texas coast. That is a magnificent undertaking.
Yes.
We thank you so much for sharing your story with us. This is how your presentation, the work that all of you have done, and you particularly, Kawana, are shining examples of what the League of Women Voters promotes, which is empowering voters or people and defending our democracy. You have done both. You have empowered those people who are currently sitting on your board of directors to reach out and do the work. That's so important. But you also have navigated the legislative session in order to have a lasting impact on the lives of everyone who visits the beaches in Texas. That is an incredible undertaking and an incredible achievement. So you have defended our right as citizens. You've defended democracy by making all of this happen. A grassroots effort, keep that in mind, a grassroots effort to do this. So I think I'm safe in saying that all of us with the League are in awe of the task that was before you and the task that keeps going in order to make sure that the legacy lives on, but also that you can again ensure additional generations of families who visit our beaches that they are safe. And that is incredible, and we thank you. If you don't mind, Dara or Kawana, if you would put contact information in the chat box, if any one of our members is interested in contributing to the scholarship fund, that might be valuable information for them. So if you would consider doing that. Are there any final questions? Final questions once more for Kawana?
And I will say, Dara, if you can find the Del Mar College link as well, you have the Jaisani Smith Foundation, but then if you add the Del Mar College Memorial Scholarship link in there, that'd be great. If not, you can just, you can visit the Del Mar College Foundation. I believe you type in Jaisani Smith Memorial Scholarship and that should pop up. And one last thing, we are again celebrating the foundation. We're doing a 5K on April 2nd, 2022. And again, in honor and celebration of Beach Safety and Rip Current Awareness Month, again, which is April, the whole month of April. So we aspire for all businesses and organizations to take part in this initiative, and we want them to do the outreach as it fits their organization. They don't necessarily have to do billboards and things like we do, but just a simple message out via email to their network or whomever they serve, and as it pertains to beach safety and Rip Current awareness, that will make a huge difference. You're helping to save a life, and that's what matters. So thank you so much for your time, and we appreciate the platform. I hope I did great. I know I'm sure I'm forgetting something.
Not at all, Kawana. Thank you so much. We appreciate this, as I've said, and this is important to us as a league. The way that the league operates is that we conduct studies on local issues. And then once we've done those studies, we develop position statements. for those. And right now, we periodically each year are supposed to go back and examine existing position statements and see if there are any updates that need to be made to those. And so we do in a natural resources area, we address beaches, a position statement there. So this information is helpful to us as our committees go forward and look at those position statements and see what needs to be updated, tweaked, enlarged. That, this has been very, very helpful for us. So we did have ulterior motives here, and we're asking you.
Well, but you know what? I'm glad you did, because as soon as we get that Texas Coalition for Beach Safety up and running, your name is going to be on that invitation list.
Awesome.
That's what it takes, though, right? I mean, I don't know everything. Trust me, I'm still learning a lot. I know enough to make me dangerous. I must be pretty dangerous, but I know enough to make me dangerous. But again, without the support of League of Women Voters and just individual citizens like yourself, we can't make these things happen. And so it takes everyone. And again, it takes time, but we'll get there. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, I know that we're getting close to the end of this hour, and if some of you need to cut off, I understand. Anel Neal needs to speak now. She needs to share some information, Zoom information with you before you leave. Anel?
Hi, I want to let everyone know, I should probably have done this much earlier on, but the chat stream is available. It gets captured and I have a copy of it after the fact, so that we put a whole lot of information into the chat stream a lot of times when we have these meetings. And if you feel like you missed something or whatever and you would like a copy of that chat stream, you can email me, and I put my email address and phone number in the chat, but here it is. Annell, ANNELL at ebns.us, and 512-771-3026. If you feel like you missed something or you just want a copy of everything that was put into the chat stream, please feel free to contact me and I will email you a copy of that.
Thank you, Anel. Thank you very much. Well, this is close to the end of the hour. As I said, I just want to remind you that the League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan grassroots political organization, as yours is a grassroots organization, Kiana, working from the people up. And so we appreciate, again, your service, your comments here, your story. We do not support or oppose candidates or political parties, but we do address issues. And so as we've stated earlier in this meeting, that we are at a crucial point in terms of redistricting to make sure that we have fair, transparent maps for the next 10 years. So please be sure to check your emails for action updates from us of things that are happening and how you can contribute. That's very, very important for making this happen. As Kiwana has said, it takes everybody. It can't just be one or two people. It takes everybody to get this work done. And it is important work because it affects our very lives here in the state of Texas. So again, thank you all for being here. Be sure to check this will be posted on our YouTube channel, this recording, so you can go back and refer to it. Also be sure to look for those action alerts for you that go to you so that you can step up and take action. So again, thank you all. Thank you, Dara and Kiwana. We look forward to working with you in the future. And thanks for this opportunity to hear your story. Take much care.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Thank you.
Catherine, you want to
Thank y'all so
remind
much.
everybody that our next membership meeting is October 21st from 11:30 to 1. We're trying to focus on beaches, so you got us on the right track, Kiwana and Dara. Thank you. We're going to have Scott Cross. I'm sure you're familiar with him. He's going to be speaking to us. If you have any advice on what we need to know from him, feel free to let Catherine or I know. We're going to do it virtually again, I do believe. We're still waiting for things to be a little safer. I do want to say that we were going to have the meeting at the Texas State Museum of Asian Cultures, and that was going to be a change for us. We usually meet at Del Mar, but when we meet again in person, it will probably be at the State Museum of Asian Cultures because they were kind enough to let us postpone the meeting. But next month, October 21st, virtual meeting with Scott Cross.
Thank you, Julie, for that information. We, of course, will be sending out an email as the date gets closer so that you can save it in your calendars. That's it for today. Be out there, go empower some voters, write some postcards, and defend our democracy. You are awesome women, all of you. Awesome men, women and men. Take much care. Okay, good deal. Anything else now, Julie?
I have. Do you see this?
Uh-huh.
Okay. These were available at the mixer that we had, and were thrown into the stack of things that I have, and that's how many I have. They are basically, if you remember, they're just an explanation about the League of Women Voters on both sides, who we are, what we are, and how to contact us. And I just wanted to let somebody know, I came across them when I was looking for something else the other day, that we have these and we have a large stack of them. If we do have an in-person event again, that that those are available, and just let me know and I'll get them out to whoever wants them.
Okay, I'm just sitting here wondering, maybe we could take some to the YW. I wonder if they would put some out.
Sure.
Maybe if we're going to deliver like the bookmarks and the voting guide, is there any way to fit that into it?
Yeah.
I actually have a small stack of those very same postcards.
Okay.
For cards.
That's awesome.
That I brought home with me from that event as well. So I'm wondering, I'm even wondering, getting them out. I can't remember, does the Art Center have a place for community?
I don't know.
I have that desk in the middle going into the,
yeah,
I'll probably put it there.
And what about the libraries?
They all have areas to put it. You just have to make sure they
can
put
go
it
with the
out
voter
there.
guides. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Julie, Catherine, did you have something else?
No, I don't.
Julie, I'm glad you stayed on. I had a thought while I was at the while I was listening in, and where I'm working currently is at Del Mar. It's in the building that we have. We usually have our meetings in, the ones across from is that Ray High School? On
I don't know.
Staples.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Center for Economic Development, the smaller offshoot. But I work for a department called the Small Business Development Center.
Oh, nice. I bet you know Darcy.
I do. Yes.
I love her.
I
Nice.
love her. She's great. And Lois has a friend that works in their PTAC division, and they are not as well known a resource as I think they could be.
I agree.
And I thought that they might be a good a good thing for a presentation. And whenever anybody finds out about what they do, it is, oh, give me information, But I think if we were to spotlight them, even for half a meeting, or something in the future, that might not only shed more light on them, but it would probably, drag some of those people who've been dragging their feet into actually becoming members, because I think that they would all be very good members.
So
That's a
you've
great
been
idea.
recruiting and they haven't taken the bait yet. Huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
No, I think that's good. I hadn't heard of it either till I met Darcy and she told me, and I've had a few friends that have used it to get their businesses going.
I think they've
It
helped
is an
quite a
underused
few.
resource. Yeah.
Mhm.
They are, and they just know everything there is to know about starting a business, where to go for financing. There's a lot of, COVID financing available right now. We have one guy who specializes in connecting people with COVID funds and such. So,
Very
That's
good.
awesome. What we can do, we could certainly do that. What I'm trying to do right now too, and I don't think it's going to be very hard, is look through those positions that we need to review and find something in there that is related to it.
Right.
But I think
good
we
idea.
have an economic development piece in there about like the tourism and how, so I think, if you can just help me with that, so we can figure out when to put them in. But those positions, like what I did with Kawana today, I tried to find a way that it related, because we've had some other folks that want to do some program that's not related to the positions yet, and we've told them, oh, we decided that we're only doing things that are related to
Right.
the positions. That I need to make sure we
Stay
follow
with
that practice.
Yes.
Right.
So I don't
Right.
think that's going to be hard, and I think it's a great idea. I had thought about reaching out to that Convention Visitor Bureau guy,
Mhm.
but I just haven't done it yet. And I think giving tools to people on how to empower themselves economically empowers our city. So I think we can figure that out.
I just basically, thought of it while we were in the meeting, and I wanted to bring it up as a
That's good.
potential future.
It'd be
Sounds good.
beautiful too if we could have it in when they start having meetings there. I'm not
Oh,
just saying that
yeah.
because it's a good place to meet, but I also am a member of Grow Local, and we had a couple of if they did events. It was like a little mini college, like for 2 days, and I was like a proctor,
Uh-huh.
and they had all these people come in from the agriculture industry, and they used all those classrooms and gave speeches and classes. But it's like you said, that even though the program's there, I don't even think people know the building and all that is there either. So that in a
Right.
perfect world,
Or
I would
what it
love to
is.
see it happen. Yeah, and we could even do a little tour, because if we could get people, not always standing, but like I love to hear in Kawana talk about how they went out to the beach and talked to people.
Mhm.
So
I have a map of the building itself that was part of what I got when I came to work there, with all the little fire exits and that type of thing. But I thought about you when I got that. I thought, oh, Julie might like this. It shows where all the rooms are.
nice. It's going to be awesome. It's
Yeah.
so exciting. And I tell you, Del Mar, it is such a special
Yeah.
college. I don't know what the region would do without it.
I field calls from people every day that are calling the wrong number. They should be calling the main desk. But there are all kinds of things going on there that I don't know about, that they're asking questions about. Is this that they do this CNA licensing and phlebotomy, and they have in that particular part of the college is where they have a lot of their non-credit courses.
Mhm.
So anyway,
Oh, yeah.
it's just
Like
interesting.
it is all the crafts programs, skilled
Mhm.
craft programs they have.
Mhm.
My husband and I joke, because we've had to get our air conditioner fixed, and we're like, there's such a shortage. And we're like, oh my gosh, what an incredible career it would have been to be an HVAC person in Corpus Christi. I guarantee you, they're making 3 figures.
Yeah.
And you can get it through Del Mar. Come on.
Yeah.
Don't get student debt and go to an 8-year program. Just
Yeah,
get
definitely.
skilled craft. But yeah, no, I thought that was a really good meeting though.
Mhm.
And
I did too. I just, yeah, I thought it was informative. There wasn't a huge crowd, but it was, that was fine. It was fine.
It's okay. Yeah, and it's recorded, and
That's right.
It's on YouTube, and I thought it was really interesting. Like when she said, they do most of their stuff digital, and those PSAs were YouTube recorded. So there's a good idea for us right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
so just a reminder that we have a couple of members who are capable of doing video very well. And so we may want to tap them.
Well, we should connect them to Linda. They have all those actions in the in the position statement. They could do videos on, they could make their own PSAs about run the water 30 seconds. I always do that now. I had no idea to do that. I mean, they could even do one about the
well, that would be something to take up when we get to talk to Aaron and to Crystal and Kevin.
Yeah,
that we're interested in doing that.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, well,
good idea. Make a note of that so we don't forget.
My head's not there. I need to get these postcards moving somehow.
Okay.
So any suggestions on that? I'm going to talk to Sylvia. I think her membership committee is going to have to call people.
Yeah. I will definitely send you a copy of the chat stream so you'll have the information on the people that, so
I
that
wrote
they
it
would
down.
Oh, did you? Okay.
It wasn't very many. I mean, we didn't have very many, but we made an announcement. I just didn't want those to go out in the field into public without making an announcement at a membership meeting. I didn't think that would be proper.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
So now we've done that, we can kind of be very creative.
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't have any postcards. Do you want me to pop by and pick some up?
Not yet. That's how I'm going to spend the rest of it because I need to make a handout.
Okay.
Like I like to have a printed information sheet that has the address and some messages they could pick from.
Okay.
And then I'd already made bags of 10, but I don't know. I feel like I have to make individual bags to.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I should be on your list of people who will not only write postcards, but I'll deliver.
It's a good. We haven't. There's like 6 people. The problem is now we don't have enough people to deliver to.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. We could even not call them and just take the member list and split up the addresses with everyone and just drop them off.
Well,
what do you think about that?
I have a couple of friends who were at the postcard meeting, at the postcard party, who are not members. One is a former member, but but she's still out of town, I think.
But that's kind of the way to think about it. Get them to members and get it out to people who aren't members.
Oh, okay.
And they said on that big tent call that this week was going to be a wild ride.
Yes, it is.
And to be prepared. So we got to get those cards going. And
exactly. Okay.
So we're gonna have to do a blast. We're gonna have to do an email blast, but at least we made it.
So could we? Okay, I'm just asking. It doesn't have to be. Some of Sylvia Whitworth does the Democratic Divas, and I don't know if we're not. If we supply text, would that be disingenuous to see if anyone would be interested if they're not a league member?
No, I think people just use, how Kawana said, use your networks. Everybody has different networks. If we have another, like I'm an independent, if I use those networks, I can. Right. As long as we tell our members it's nonpartisan and use your networks, I think that's fine. Hopefully there's some Republicans out there that I'm sure have networks. I just don't know who they are, and I really don't want to, so it's fine. But they're there, and they certainly want to have, you would think they want fair maps. Either party needs to hold themselves to that notion because they're both, if the Democrats had a chance to gerrymander, they would gerrymander.
Well, this
That's
is,
why
you know,
there's
everything, you know,
no
you read,
gerrymandering.
you know, it's always in retaliation of whoever was in power the last time around. And that's just
It
because
is.
it's, you know, the Republicans were, you know, for the longest time, Republicans were accusing Democrats, and I know they were doing it. I mean, you know, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, it's the same thing, you know, even if it's not about redistricting, it's about going and copying names off of gravestones in the cemetery and then, you know.
Because that's how it works. That's why I love
That's
that
how-
I love the For the People Act, because it takes out corporate donations and and no gerrymandering. Those things, nothing's going to work the way it's set up right now.
That's right.
It's just,
You know, and I'm sorry, but you know, we talk about paying Todd Hunter's salary. If you ever go on Ballotopedia and you look at where his donations are and how much they are from, you know, the Koch brothers and all of them.
And he hasn't renewed his membership.
I don't think he's going to.
I think you're right. Yeah, so anyway, I need to go, and I know y'all do too. I need to make those phone calls to Chewy's office and to Todd's office and see if I can find out something.
Okay.
All right, thank you
All right,
both.
well, thank y'all.
Y'all
Talk to
do an
you
awesome
later.
job. Appreciate you.
Thank
We got
you.
a great team. Thanks.
Yes.
Bye.
You do. Bye-bye.